Hello everyone and welcome to Adobe Live. I'm your host, Kieran Lewis, a freelance graphic designer based in London. And today is part 2 of illustrator and author Markita Staples on Adobe Live. Markita, how are you doing today?
I am good, Kieran. Yay, day 2.
Ready for it? Ready for part 2?
I'm ready. Yeah? Yes, I'm excited.
Part 1 flew by, so I feel like everyone's ready for part 2 and it's going to be a good vibe, I'm sure of it. I can feel it. As usual, a massive warm welcome to everyone who's joining. If you're watching on YouTube or Behance, massive welcome. I can see everyone in the chat is coming through thick and fast. We've got Wade, our moderator, General, Sean, Richard. So, a massive welcome to you guys. Put some love in the chat. Send some emojis where you guys tuning in from. Get those comments in the chat and I will share them directly with Markita, with you guys. Just 2 little reminders before we get into the real flow of today. Firstly, don't forget to remember to check out the Adobe stream tomorrow morning with Andy and Jordan. I will be sharing their top tips on creating social strategy and show how to set up your own content calendar. So you definitely don't want to miss out on that. And secondly, today's also even a more special day because we have our artist spotlight later on in the stream. We'll keep it a secret, we won't say who it is, but for those who are quite new, Artist Spotlight is a segment of Adobe Live where we just celebrate creators in the community. So stay tuned for that. But now we're going to go into part 2 of Markita's stream. So Markita, would you like to introduce yourself maybe to those who maybe missed that yesterday and obviously what we'll be working on for today?
Yes. Hello, everyone. I am Markita. As Kieran mentioned, I'm an author and illustrator of a book series called the Curly Crew book series. And I have 6 books in the series and we are working on book number 7, which is called C is for Curly. And so during our live yesterday and today, we're working on, and this book is the ABCs of curly hair. A is for Afro, B is for braid, C is for curly, and so on. And so we're working on V is for versatility. And yesterday we worked on the sketches. And today we are finalizing the sketches, or I'm sorry, we're done with the sketches. We're finalizing our ink and our color. So we're gonna do that for the first half or so. And then we are going to go into InDesign and I'll show you how I bring those final illustrations into the final book.
Ooh, that's a solid plan. So I'm super excited. I'm sure everyone in the chat is as well. I can see we've got people from all different parts of the world tuning in. So we've got Germany and obviously the US and a bit of Canada. So a massive welcome to you guys. And as I said at the beginning as well, any comments you guys have, any questions, anything you want to ask Markita while she's designing, her background, her story, what she's using, tools, please get those in the chat and I will share them directly with Markita. So I'm excited to get into it.
Yes, me too. Okay, so I hid the color, but I'm gonna bring it back in a minute. I did a little work on this yesterday. So it's looking, I'm honestly loving the direction that it's going in. And I know yesterday I was like, we're not going to do the other 2 little girls because we only worked on 2 of the little girls yesterday. I mean, same girl. But then I worked on it a little bit last night and I was like, we got to have all of them. So nice. One thing I love that I did. So I don't know if you remember yesterday, she was just kind of standing to the side. She didn't have much of a pose. And I was like, she needs to do something. So I actually had my daughter model for me. And I was just like, stand there and like put your hands over your mouth so I can see like what that looks like. And so now she's giggling and I think she's happier. She likes being like this. I also changed a little bit of the kind of the color scheme. So I put the, what do you call that? The fruit on her leggings. Nice. Yeah, and I thought that just made it like a nice little, gives it a nice pop, but it's not like all the fruit.
It's a strong color palette. I remember yesterday we had you had little circles of your little color palette swatch and we were kind of saying which ones will go nice with the shirt and the skirt. Yeah, it looks cool.
Yeah, this was a good choice. I'm glad we went with these colors. So let's see, I'm gonna just color these other two images. I also tried to clean up some of my layers. Ugh, I am not my
No
layer
judging here,
management.
honestly. Each to their own, each to their own. If you're
Yeah.
again, I think we had that question yesterday where is everyone or in terms of like a question, are you more of a layer tidy up, or do you kind of name your layers? Do you kind of go as you go along? Yeah, each to their own, right?
Yeah. I never name layers. It's so bad. I don't name them. I don't I do take the time every now and then to try to clean them up a little bit. So I did that a little bit yesterday. Like I had a bunch of sketch layers and I grouped them, but
I remember your love though for the autosave. That came up yesterday. I remember us discussing. I feel like for anyone in the chat, especially if you know that feeling of when you forget to save, which some people do at the beginning, or some people forget because they're in the real flow. But autosave is your best friend, right? In some of the new updates.
It is a lifesaver. I have definitely lost work that I spent like so much time on. Honestly, not the biggest problem with, me losing work, like the biggest risk is my kids getting my iPad and scribbling. That has happened a couple of times. And I'm like, no.
It's all part of the creative process, no, is it not? Is it? I'm trying to put a spin on it there. I don't know if it worked, but
no, see, those are not happy little accidents. Those are like, oh my gosh.
Up and away. We've got some good love already in the chat. We've got Benita who said, yay, Curly Crew, hello from Charlotte in NC. And she's got a question for you as well, actually, whilst you're doing that. So Benita said, Markita, about how many hours a day do you typically work on illustrations?
Well, hello, Benita. Let's see. I am either lots of hours or no hours at all. There's nothing in between. So like, I would say in a typical week, I probably work on illustrations maybe 2 or 3 days out of the week. The other days I'm doing other business stuff. And then if I'm working on them, like I spend probably minimum like 4 hours, because it's just like, first of all, I have a really hard time pulling myself away once I get into something. And, they take so long. I forget exactly how to check. I like how we can I think we can see how long we've been working on something in a file. That's always interesting to look at.
Yeah, no, that's a good point. I remember you saying as well, like the process, maybe for those maybe who didn't tune in yesterday, but definitely check that out after this stream, of course. But I remember you saying about you kind of do pen to paper, you kind of draw, sometimes scribble and doodling first. That's where the kind of your inspiration first started from. Is that right?
Yeah, definitely. And you know what? I show like my sketchbook, and it's like a, where I kind of play around with like markers and different things like that. So yeah, you know what? If I actually add the time I spend doing that, I would say I probably draw every day, because my daughter and I will usually just kind of get on the floor and we're either drawing something or coloring. So
that's cool. I like that. I remember I had a mate at uni who had he was told us a story. His dad let him have, basically he had a spare room and it was all white, and he let him just paint. As a young child, I think he was at the time when he was quite young, but anything he wanted, just scribbles on the walls, draws, like a blank canvas of a room. I mean, that's pretty awesome. I'd love that as a kid.
Awesome.
I love it now, to be fair, as an adult, and as a kid.
I mean, you got me thinking, because
you got a spare room, Markita. You can just.
We actually might. We've only been in our home for about 2 years, and we just got some space that in our basement where it's just kind of there. We could totally do something like that. Oh my God, that'd be a lot of fun.
But you know what happened? The kids will eventually be like, well, Mom, we've done it in the spare room. Can we do it in the kitchen and then the living room? And then, it'll be a Jackson Pollock painting, right?
Well, I mean, to be honest, right now, they already do that sometimes.
Yeah.
The magic eraser. Have you used that before?
Yeah, on Photoshop. That's a useful tool.
It's become our best friend.
That is best friends. We've got some, it's quite nice. Again, we've got people sharing their experiences in the chat. So definitely get your experiences shared in there. And we've got Richard, who said, and it's on that topic of when we were discussing saving, he said that he always names his layers. Topic of saving layers, I should say. He said he always names his layers. I was a computer programmer for 12 years. So I got in the habit of commenting my code. So that's a good way of, that's a cool way of getting it. I mean, I imagine that's quite an intense, but also rewarding kind of route to get into coding.
I would bet
So
you'd
thank
have to
you.
do it there. Yeah. Like,
Yeah, you don't want to get
that's
sort of lost in the
tough.
matrix and then you you kind of start back from square one. But thanks for sharing that, Richard. That's good to know. We've got a question from Dara. He said, hello from Atlanta. So we've got some Atlanta crew in the chat. Welcome. And they've said, you're so creative. How do you decide on the shades and the colors for each character?
Oh, yeah. Good question. So yesterday we had like do I have it just because I like showing off my family? This is one of my favorite photos of my family, and it's because everybody's a different shade. So I like to just kind of pull up a reference photo, something like this, and it gives me like some options of like actual skin colors. So that's one way I do it. And I just kind of go for whatever I'm feeling in the moment. And then what I'll do too is like this book, for example, it's got, a bunch of different characters. So I always will like take a step back and I'm like, okay, what kind of skin tones and hair colors do we already have? And then maybe I need to add some more lighter skin tones, some more darker ones. So yeah, it's lots of things that I kind of draw from. That's a really good question.
That's cool. Yeah, no, thanks for that. That was a good question. Definitely get those in. And I remember as well, like we discussed a bit about the kind of concept behind Curly Crew and then what you do. And do you know, obviously whilst you're still designing, so elaborate again for maybe those who maybe missed out in yesterday about Curly Crew and kind of why it kind of means a lot to you.
Yes, I'd love to talk about that.
So
Curly Crew. I started the series the idea came to me like maybe 3 years ago. And I published my first book like 2.5 years ago. And it was basically based on my daughter. She's now 5 and she has curly hair. And it was just a very unique quality for her. In most situations, when she walked in the room, she just had a very unique, her hair color, the curl pattern, all that stuff. And, honestly, I would say like as Black people in general, our hair is like, it's our kind of crown and glory, right? Like it really sets us apart. And there's this, we feel so strongly about it, I think, because we love it and we're proud of it. But then we also, honestly, there's a lot of pain and trauma wrapped up in it too. When I was younger, I had a relaxer, to straighten my hair, and that was kind of the norm, like growing up. So now we've started to really change the narrative around like natural hair. And so many of us are like passionate about teaching our kids, like, hey, your hair is beautiful. Your curls is popping, girl.
Embrace it.
Yes.
I love that. That's such an important thing to, especially as well. I mean, when you mentioned you straighten your hair, I also did a similar relaxer, and you do find within, and again, it's not, without getting way too deep into it, sometimes it's a mixture of the media and what you see in advertisement. It doesn't feel, realistic, and to basically almost blend in, you feel like you kind of need to do it a certain way, which is why books like this is so important for young kids to see, actually embrace my braids, embrace my curliness, and and be expressive. But I also did a similar what you said, where you straightened and then you realize actually it's so much work as well, having to maintain it when you actually think, what, if you just wash it, tidy it, comb it, brace it, anything you want, it's actually more fresh, and it's more natural as well, right? Which you kind of have to embrace that naturalness, I think.
Oh my goodness. Like, do you remember the sheer terror of water? And that's still the case. Because even if your curls are popping, you like got them defined. You don't want it to get wet. But like, it's no joke. When your hair is straight, you are like, no water near me at all. Like, don't even drink water around me because I'm just like afraid.
Yes, that reminds me of like back in the day, my sister went to like the seaside or the beach, and then she'll be afraid. She want to go in the sea, but she doesn't want to maybe get her head too wet. I know that's and obviously me being a kid wanted to splash her up just before, for lols. But yeah, I heard that. You have to protect the curls at all costs.
Gotta protect them.
But no, again, going back to the real concept about what this is about. I think that's also, it's an educational part as well, even for those who are not from maybe the Black community, because And I've seen a lot of tutorials online where people are starting to embrace how to actually, either cut or even braid, black and brown people hair, because they don't necessarily know about it because they're not from that community. So it's all about a learning curve. It's not just within our community, it's for anyone to kind of, embrace it and to want to learn, right?
Absolutely. I mean, I will even say I've learned a lot just from having this series about other, just like you said, non-Black people that feel the same way, where it's like, I don't know if it's okay to wear my curls and, they've straightened their hair or just worn it in different ways because it's not embraced. And so, I mean, I think it's universal where like curly people, we are proud of our hair, but then it's also like, getting over those traditional views of, what's beautiful and what's professional. So yeah, it's super relatable to almost anyone.
Which is why it's super important to have these books, which is amazing. And I can see already in the chat, everyone's loving the illustrations, what you're doing. We've got Richly said he's loving those eyes. They're so expressive. I mean, they are good. They are not. And we've got Anthony as well. He said also the illustrations are very cute. So a lot of love in the chat today.
Aww, thanks, so guys. The expressions are everything for me. Are you familiar with Mo Willems? I mean, I think everyone knows Mo Willems. You might not because you don't have kids yet. But he writes the pigeon books and anyway, he's pigeon amazing.
Books. What's pigeon? You have to elaborate. What's the pigeon books? I've never
heard of this pigeon. So I mean,
leave it like that and then not tell me what the pigeon.
Even the title is like intriguing. It's like his most popular one is "Don't Let the Pigeon Drive the Bus." And it's basically like this book is kind of directed towards the kid as the reader. And, it's like, hey, I'm going to leave you with this pigeon, but don't let him ride the bus. Okay. And like this pigeon is like, he has so much personality and he just wants to like get, he's going to try to like convince the reader to let him ride the bus. But the cool thing about his books is, stop, go away. Okay. Sorry. Is that, he does such a great job with expressions. So they have been like a really good reference point for me. Another series that he has is Elephant and Piggy. And it's just like, it's my kids' favorites. It's this elephant and this pig. And they like have all this drama.
It's a strong combo.
It's a strong, just from that you could, but yeah, he's so good at expressions. And I'm just like, I want my characters to feel like that. So I'm constantly like, trying to pull from.
I imagine as well when you're a parent, you have to, maybe if you're into just children's books in general and the design of it, but even more so when you've got children, you have an opportunity to start buying books like that. And then to see, that must be quite cool because you're kind of like opening back up into that creativity space again when you're young.
Oh my God. My husband is like, no more books. In fact, even my daughter is like, she's like, I'm not Markita, but Mom, we don't need more books. We have too many books. And I'm like, no, you can never have too many books. We need more.
Very, very true.
It's so much fun for me. So I'm like, and I do have my stack of picture books that the kids cannot touch. I'm like, nope.
That's on that top shelf. They can't reach that one. If exactly. I hear you. And again, for anyone in the chat, if you're into, you're even, I think we touched on it yesterday about you can get those like coloring book for adults, some more like intense sort of drawings. And if you're inside the line or outside the line, again in the chat, are you into sort of coloring in? Do you doodle? Do you get in trouble at school for doodling? I know that came up yesterday. Definitely share your comments or experiences with coloring in, because sometimes people don't tend to color anymore. Or even just draw. It's all very much computer, which is part of the process. But something quite nice about putting in a pencil or pen to paper, right?
Absolutely. Awesome. I love it. I have a request for the chat that I want to ask now so that you guys have some time to think about it when we get to it. It'll probably be like a good,
I love that.
30 minutes.
Go for it.
Okay. So I mentioned that this is V is for versatility, or it may be, okay. So the first question is, should it be V is for versatility, or should it be like versatile or variety? Those are a couple other V words. And, you see the theme here. It's like the same girl, different styles. And that's what we're getting across. And so that's one question.
We can make that just quick one, just on that, just before we lose it. We can make that into a poll, actually. So maybe if we've got so we've got a little poll function on here. So maybe if you repeat the things again, the subjects, and then we can maybe do a little poll on there, and we can see what the guys and ladies vote in the chat. So do you want to mention the V again, just so?
So the options are: V is for versatile, cool. Versatility, or variety.
Cool. Hopefully you got that, Wade. And in the chat we could do a little poll. If not, we can repeat it. But and then the next part you were saying.
And then the next part is if I have any fellow authors out there. So my process when I'm coming up with my words, so you can see like, and this may even help with your answer. This book rhymes, but whenever I do a rhyming book, I write it out without rhyming first. So basically what she's saying is V is for versatility. I can wear so many styles, something different every day. My hair can be styled so many different ways and show off my style and creativity. Like those are the gist of what it's going to say. And if you're a rhyming person, or you got a little flow, drop some bars. Yeah. The flow of it is like, for example, curly is, I think it goes, C is for curly. I don't remember the words, but the flow of it will be like, C is for curly. Look at our hair, blah, 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 blah. It's all there or something like that. So it's going to be V is for
I like that.
Blah, 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 blah.
You know what? That sounds like it could be new generation rap there. When you just, that was like, that could be trending. After this stream, I'm pretty sure I can be trending now on TikTok.
Oh my God, do not have me trending for my whack bars. I'm like, I don't even want to see that.
You weren't expecting on Adobe Live where you're designing process and now you got a rap career on the road.
Yeah, right. We were talking about Kanye yesterday and now we're like.
And we've got Wade making a poll shortly. So I'll definitely, once those results come in, I'll share that with you, Markita, and then you've got your answers.
Yeah, that'll come into play when we get to the putting it into InDesign. So you guys got a little time to think about it. But
so for those maybe who just joined in, do you know maybe explain maybe what sort of part you're doing now? So we've got a bit of a
yes. So right now I am coloring in. We're at the tail end of our color, right? So we've got these girls are done. For the most part, I may go back and do some little tweaks to like add some accessories to their hair, something like that. Nice. She's pretty much done. I need to add her pants the print on her pants. And then she is catching up. Oh, shoot. She needs a skirt too. I'll think about that. Cause I got stuck. Like, when she's sitting down, the skirt is it's gonna be like over here, kind of. I gotta figure
like fold over the knees, you mean? Or like a...
Yeah, it's going to, I think you won't really see much of it over her knees because it's a little short. So I think it'll kind of be like, there. So I may not do that now because I got to play around with it.
That's cool.
For now, she might just
don't judge you for that. Don't worry. I mean, we're in a safe space there. We're good for it. But yeah, cool.
Yeah, that's always the, one of my next classes, because I mentioned that I take like some art classes. We have like a kind of an art community center. And I definitely want to take one just on like clothes, like understanding how to draw the folds of clothes and, the movement. And like in my charcoal class, she had on like what is that called? Kind of like, the accordion style shirt. Right. Okay. And so drawing that, I was just like, wow, this is just interesting to try to draw that and like the way the light hits it. So
that's cool. I remember we spoke yesterday as well about the beauty of like, there's a lot of classes out there, whether it's online and obviously now, we can go out and do a lot of things in communities where, in your local area, or even, of course, even Adobe Live when we have our streams, there's a lot of, tutorials or sort of tips on how you can kind of, learn into drawing, whether it's body shape, whether it's, like you said, clothing and the styles. And that's the beauty of it, to learn and to be inspired and just to have fun with it whilst you're creating.
Absolutely. It's so like, I am like addicted to learning. Like I definitely could have been the person that got like a PhD, and like, because I just love learning new things. It's so fun. So yeah, it's always exciting when I like kind of pick up a new skill.
It's like when the brain, it's that moment when the brain, it switches, like, okay, I'm not so reliant on, I can kind of, there's that second nature moment. It's almost when you learn to drive, if for those, it's like you spend so much time, I don't know why I mentioned driving, that's a bit random, but like the idea of you spend so long trying to get it right, and then you jump in a car and it's second nature, you don't have to think about it.
Yes.
That's the art when that brain, that switch moment, right? It's cool.
It's cool. And it's cool when you're conscious of it, like, wow, I am now doing this without thinking. It's a really good feeling.
We've got, and again, just, even for those in the chat and join us today, that's what everyone in here come to do, to obviously learn about your design process and your skills. So massive welcome if you've just joined us. But yeah, that's also great because you guys are in the right place to learn some illustration skills. And we've got a question from Greg, who said, what sort of considerations do you need to make when writing/illustrating for any particular target age group?
Ooh,
that's a good question.
That is a very good question. That was something that I really had to like figure out when I got started. So obviously word count is gonna like probably be the biggest thing that makes a difference between, a picture book for a younger versus older audience. Picture, like the ones that I do are typically, my books are like less than 200 words. This one's going to be a little wordier because it's the alphabet and I just have to have words to go up all the alphabet. But and so mine are for like younger kids, like pre-readers. So these are kids that are not necessarily reading yet or just getting started with reading. And then I think picture books can go as high as like, I don't know the number, but I feel like maybe a couple thousand words before you start to get into more of the, graphic novel territory. But yeah, the best thing is always to just kind of like whatever book you want to write, whatever you're targeting, go to the library and, take out some books that are written for that, for that age group. And then like, get a feel for the number of words and then also, so the word count is one thing. The other thing is like, I mentioned complexity of the illustrations for an older kid. Like you want to give them something a little more to look at. So your backgrounds might be a little more complex and you want the age of the kid to be older. An interesting thing that I learned about kids when I started with the books is that they don't really like to read books about kids that are younger than them. So,
that's interesting.
So older is always good. But like if it looks like it's a baby, they're just like,
I'm not a baby.
I am not a baby.
Yeah, that's interesting. That makes total sense. That was a great question. Thank you for. And actually, when you mentioned, excuse me, going to the library and research, I'm even wondering, like, having an opportunity to go into the community and speak to people, like, even share, like, almost, I guess it's market research, but just even if it's like a few spreads of a book, or just to kind of get people's thoughts. If they've got children, you can kind of stop by and because I guess sort of doing it firsthand is quite cool as well. So you get direct responses from people in our community.
Oh my God. Like that is so underrated because, it's so easy to just live on your computer and not ever really talk to people. But yeah, or like having a kid read your book, or like reading it to a kid and just kind of seeing their reaction and seeing if it matches what you were going for is super interesting because kids will like catch you completely off guard and like they're laughing at something that you were like, that was not meant to be funny.
I love that. That's a good point. They have no shame to just say what they feel. But that's that's, if anything, that's the most organic and honest way of kind of being, if that's the case. So you chose the right target audience to know the real truth about if the work you're doing is going the right direction. For sure. We've got a comment from Misty. It's on that topic of when we mentioned about buying too many books. So Misty said, I have tons of books all in my daughter's room. I have no place to put them. She wants to get rid of them. I'm like, no.
I'm with you, Misty. I am like, And what we have a lot of now are board books, because obviously that's like for younger kids. And I love me a good board book. And my daughter, I mean, they're definitely too young for her. And so I was just thinking that myself, like, I got to get rid of all these board books. And I don't want to, because the memories,
so cool.
and they're so pretty. Yeah, I'm with you on that.
No, keep those comments coming in for sure. That was a great one to know. It's always nice to hear, again, because we've got so many different people from different, all walks of life in this stream. It's always nice to hear your backgrounds and your own perspectives on colouring and books, and even children's books in particular. So please share.
Yes, I love to hear it. I love to know I'm not the only one that's like, and there are, so what's her name? Gretchen Rubin. She's very popular in like the podcast world. And she has like a kid lit community. And it's really just for like people that like reading children's books. And I mean, a lot of it is like young adult fiction, which a lot of us read in general. But, a lot of it is like picture books, because it's okay to be an adult that enjoys picture books.
Sure. And I feel like definitely this is of Adobe Live as well, especially if you're even new to, this is a perfect time to even mention, if you are kind of new to Adobe Live and this is literally your first stream you've walked in on, obviously a massive welcome. At these kind of tutorials and these streams we're doing is a great way to really, be inspired and to learn about your community, and to see what other creators are up to within different sectors. This is a great time to mention now, about half an hour in already to our stream. We've got the wonderful Markita, who's an author and illustrator, who's part of Curly Crew Books, and you can see her right now designing some characters using Fresco. So if you're interested in designing and character design, you're in the right place. And definitely check out, of course, after the stream, definitely check out Markita's website and her Instagram, because it's shining with all of her work. So never disappointed.
Thank you. And since you mentioned my website, I must plug.
Plug away. You're in the right place for that. You can. It's a safe space.
I must plug it. So one thing that I've just like started to love to do is creating an experience for people that order from me, because I'm so my books are available on Amazon, because everything is on Amazon. Like, that's where a lot of people start. But I always want to encourage people to buy from my website, because I make it a more fun experience than, a brown box. It's so what I do is like kind of wrap the books, and like if you get so one thing, you can get bundles. So, I mentioned I have all these books, and so you can like order a bundle and you get them all kind of discounted. And then it also, comes in this cute little box, and nice. I include some freebies, some stickers, some bookmarks. I write a little note. I just love doing it. I just think it's so fun. And, it's like we have so many things now, right? Like, we're just surrounded by things. So it's always nice to add an experience with the things that we get.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, guys, you heard it here first. So we've got a little nice link from Wade in the chat to Markita's website. So definitely check that out after the stream, and follow up as well. I'm sure even after the stream is done, Markita will be happy to speak to you guys and obviously connect. So yeah, and obviously well, the products are amazing. So definitely get buying if you can, for little kids or even just for yourself if you're curious. It's all good.
What should be on this puzzle? I've been looking at this puzzle and I'm just.
Ooh. Do you know what? I was gonna go deep and be like, it's a puzzle of her, like the same puzzle, but that's almost Inception. Like,
well,
it's a child's game. It shouldn't be that deep. It could be the seaside, right? And I made it into.
But I was thinking it should be like, another Curly Crew character, maybe. Like, yes. So what I'll just do for now, because I don't want to like spend a ton of time sketching a new character, I will just kind of freehand draw something, and so it's facing this way. But yeah, I think I'll probably just come back to it and drop in a character, unless somebody has like some other really dope idea.
Yeah, that's a great question. Again, in the chat, so you can see the puzzle now on the screen. What are you guys thinking that puzzle could be? Yeah, 10 points to whoever has the most creative idea. That could be on there. We'd love to hear what you guys are thinking. Yeah, definitely share. And we've got a really good question actually from Dorina, I should say, who said, do you draw these illustrations in CMYK mode in Fresco? So far, I've only used Illustrator for children's books illustrations.
I don't even know if there's a CMYK mode in Fresco, but no, I always work in RGB. And so what that means for people that are not as familiar is it's just these two main different types of like digital coloring spaces. And usually you do digital work in RGB. And if you're printing something, print shops print in CMYK. And so our question is like, since it'll be printed, what I draw in CMYK, RGB always gives you the best range of colors. Like for example, this yellow, I don't know how it looks for you guys, but it's a very rich yellow. Like it's unlikely you'll be able to print that rich of a yellow. So that's why a lot of people like to see the actual color on their screens. But yeah, I like RGB because I want to get to the best version, the richest version that I can get to, even if I'm not going to be able to print it that way. And then also I do have an ebook for all of these too. So it will be digital, and it's easier to go from RGB to CMYK than CMYK to RGB. It's like going from black and white to color. Like it's just not gonna translate as well. So yeah, so I stick with RGB for the most part, and then we're getting so technical, but I do geek out on this stuff because I did a lot of research on it at one point. But I stick with RGB, and then and you'll see this when I bring it over into InDesign, I switch to CMYK when I export the PDF for printing. So yeah, nice. Good question.
That was a great question. And again, if for you guys, if you're quite new to these kind of terminologies, that was a really good, a real breakdown of those two, color breakdowns, what we work with, whether it's digital or print. And the beauty as well, this is a good time to also flag. And even when myself and Markita, we're stopped with the stream, there's still other streams happening as well. And you can go back and watch a lot more. And they do also touch on a lot of the, technical design and print processes within projects, but also in a way where it's from different levels. So I don't feel like it's so intimidating when you hear these kind of words or different terminologies, because it's very much there for you guys to have a helping hand, and so we've got to start from somewhere, right? In terms of the foundation of how things work. So if you're just here now, you're in a great place to be inspired and to learn. So yeah, and I'm loving that sort of what do you call it on the hair? My brain.
I don't know. I was thinking the same thing. Yeah. What would I call these? I think these are like little cuffs, like the little gold like cuffs.
Clips on though, or is it like
the ones that I'm thinking of, you kind of squeeze them on. You know what I mean? They're like metal.
I'm getting like Egyptian, like the Egyptian vibes you get where.
Yeah.
Is it like that? I don't know. Yep. I'm just saying words.
Yeah. Okay. No, that's exactly it.
Is that it? Okay.
Your hair.
I do that with my own hair. Like in the evenings, I just put some gold, and then I really don't actually. I'm embarrassing myself. And on that topic, we've got some suggestions on what the puzzles could be. So Wayne said maybe the puzzle, what the design could be on there, could be one of the book covers, maybe, which is a good one. That's a strong suggestion.
That's good.
Benita said maybe the puzzle should be something easily recognized, like a rainbow. So keeping it simple, but enough that everyone kind of gets it.
That's what I was thinking initially. Like I was gonna just do like a smiley face or something, like exactly that same idea, like keeping it simple.
And we've got Doreen who said the puzzle could be planet Earth or the world ocean. I'm loving this kind of like nature. We've got the fruits, we've got the ocean, we've got yeah, guys, keep it coming. I feel like there's a vibe coming on in terms of like keeping it all natural.
I know, right? And I am here for it. Natural everything. I'm leaning towards something that nobody even said. I'm like, what do you guys think? Okay, now I'm going to do what I want to do.
And by the way, just before we get into, we have got some of the results back as well from the V's as well. But I'll let you, when we go into it, let me know, and then I'll dish that out for you when you're ready. I'll keep you in suspense for now. But
I know, right? I'm like, but I'm leaning towards something that has to do with hair, like maybe even like a phrase. Well, I don't know about a phrase, but I almost feel like it's probably kind of what you were saying for a minute, Kieran. Like it's her, like another kind of hairstyle, or something like that. But you know what? I think, Benita, you're gonna win because a rainbow is like the easiest thing to do right now, and I want to make sure I don't stay on this for too long. So it's gonna be a rainbow of all of our little colors, actually.
And just on that, I mean, you hit the nail on the head when you mentioned, because I know you're going to be jumping in. Am I right in saying InDesign next is your next?
Yep.
Next program. So that's and we've actually got Misty, who I mean, you're really on the ball, Misty. So great for that. You mentioned do you lay the book out in InDesign? So you're getting ahead of yourself, but definitely stay tuned because that is going to be happening very, very shortly. So you guys you're getting a real treat today. You got Fresco and InDesign working hand in hand. So yeah, stay tuned for that.
Was Misty the same one that says she works in Illustrator? Do you remember?
Let us know,
asked
Misty.
The question about the RGB and was that Misty?
Were you the person?
Tell us, Misty. Was it you?
Let us know, Misty. The mystery continues. We need to know.
I asked that because I've just started trying to use Illustrator, which is like goals, because it's such a powerful program. It's not as intuitive because, you know, Fresco is like you're drawing. We've all drawn before, but InDesign is like it's almost like speaking a different language. Oh, I like that.
That looked good, by the way.
Yeah, I know, right? And then I'm gonna have to. I don't know. Oh no. No. I'm on the wrong layer. But yeah, I have been playing around with it and doing some other things in Illustrator. I'm just gonna put it on a new layer. And I like how when you pull it into InDesign, there's just some powerful things that you can do. And I'm like, so that's why I'm just curious if that's you are the one that.
I think we've got the mystery has been solved. Actually, so Misty was the one, and I remember now. Misty was the one. She said, "I'm the nerd who hoards the books."
You were the okay.
Yeah, that was you. Thank you, Misty.
I knew I remembered your name. Yeah, you're my fellow book nerd. Cool.
But on that time, I mean, that's a good time to mention again. Any questions? Definitely keep them coming. You can see right now we're doing we had a little game if you just joined us about what could be on this puzzle, and rainbow was selected. So you'll just see Markita now design perhaps the most beautiful rainbow I think I've ever seen, actually. So it's looking sharp.
Oh, you good. Just flatter me.
It's looking good. Looking very good.
Red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo.
We've got a quite a technical question actually from Benita, who said, "Is there a cap on the number of layers you can use in a Fresco?"
I don't know for sure, but it must be a lot because I have not reached the max. But what I will say is I have another iPad that now my kids use for the most part, and it's an older iPad. It didn't have a whole lot of storage space, and I did reach a cap then. So I think it must depend on your storage space. Somebody.
And we've got the wonderful Wade actually. He's just to clarify as well, tech guru. So thanks. He said no, there's not only the limit of you. Took a while to read the rest of that. Actually, he said no, there's not only the limit on your imagination. I love that. That was all your hardware resources, whichever comes first.
Right.
Brilliant. Brilliant. I hope that answers your question. That's brilliant.
Yeah. For me, the hardware is always what comes first for me. I can dream up all types of stuff, and I'll be like, dang.
I'm loving this kind of like, this is not a play on Misty's name, but like kind of misty effect of the rainbow. It's looking good.
Thank you. Thank you. I like it too. I think this is a good choice. It's nice and simple.
And it marries up as well a little bit of the palette of the clothing, right? The yellow and almost the green.
Exactly.
Yeah, very cool.
Yeah, that's what I was going for. I was like, let's make it a
nice,
like not real colors that you might for real see in a rainbow, but the way that I'm doing this, by the way, is not the best way. I know there's a way to mask or something like that, but when you're self-taught, you just sort of like figure it out and then you learn the efficient ways later.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely, I know we definitely touched on a bit yesterday, and even when we do lives in general, there's always, whenever you see designers design, like even now, there's always multiple ways of how, you know, you can do things that are quicker, streamlined. But obviously right now, you know, whatever works best for yourself. But without a doubt, there is definitely other ways to make, you know, things a bit more streamlined. And that's the beauty, again, of watching, you know, more and more streams, because you start to pick up on quicker, more efficient ways of designing to make your life quicker.
Yes.
So each to their own, for sure.
For sure. I'm looking forward to, and I'm telling you now in advance, I welcome you to tell me, like, when we get to InDesign, all the ways that I should probably do things differently.
Yeah, that's all good. Everyone's here to see your process and your design, so I'm sure it's nothing but positive energy. It's all good. And actually, it's funny, what you're doing now, my brain was thinking, well, actually, that child, if they made the painting, it might have gone on a carpet. So they just kind of kept it going, like puzzle, carpet, I don't know. I'm just saying.
Oh, yeah. Wait, what do you mean? You mean I would draw the carpet?
No, sorry. So for example, say they were on a carpet and they were playing the puzzle piece, and then in a puzzle piece, they might have done like a painting, like paint on the actual puzzle pieces, and that kind of goes on to like a car. It's a bad joke, basically. I just want to make a joke, but it's not really.
Oh.
It's all good. If it takes a while me explaining, you know the joke backfired terribly. And on that topic, we've got on the next topic actually.
Dorina said, just a little slow sometimes.
Just nice me being a rubbish joker. Dorina said, "This is the start. This is the sky's color right now where I'm at." And where are you at, Dorina? If that's the sky that you're in, that sounds amazing.
Okay. I want this guy.
I want to live where you want to live, and it sounds amazing. And we've got, like, I see people kind of joining in. We've got Paloma, a massive welcome if you just joined, and for anyone who's just joined, actually, welcome to Adobe Live. And you're seeing right now we've got the wonderful Markita, who's an illustrator and author. She's part of Cody Creative Books, and she's doing some design characters, creating some characters. We're going to be going shortly into InDesign. This is part 2 of our stream, so massive welcome, and stay tuned. We've got a few treats coming up shortly, i.e. the spotlight, but we'll keep you in suspense for now. But in the meantime, just keep watching and getting inspired from Markita's work.
Yes. Okay. You know what? I think we're like at a good point where I want to bring this over. What I normally will do, it's like going to be a constant back and forth, because I'm going like, this feels about 90% done. I see some little things like she needs a part right there. Let me just give her that part, because that's going to drive me crazy. But yeah, there are some little things I'll need to do to fix it. But yeah, I'm ready to head on over to bring it over to InDesign.
But I love that. I know we touched on it yesterday, but that's that brush stroke where it's not too perfect. Like even the edges, how it's kind of rubbed out. I love that effect. I mean, that's cool.
Yeah, thank you. There's work to be done on those edges too, because this is like a lace front wig. Like, I don't know. Are you familiar with wigs at all, Kieran? I
mean, you put me in the spot now. I've got a strong collection.
I like doing that. It's fun to hear your reaction.
That's my job, Markita.
I know.
No, it's all good. I can't say no. I don't have a strong collection of wigs. If you do in the chat, if you want to mention it, share it.
You're also my gauge for like when I say stuff. Like, do people understand what I'm saying? Like when I say this looks like a lace front wig, do you get it?
No, the vibe, the energy's in the chat. I can sense it for sure. And we've got Paloma, who said the characters' hairstyles are super cute. So they're digging it. They're digging it either way.
Yay! Thanks, guys. Okay, so good. So now I am going to go back here. So what makes me happy is when I switch over to, and let me think, am I done here? Okay, so I'm going to switch over to my desktop. I'm going to do this.
And so Dorina, who mentioned about the rainbow, and we asked where she is. She's in Bulgaria, so that's pretty cool. We've got different, all different parts of the world today. So thanks for letting us know. And if Bulgaria's got those kind of rainbows, I need to go in general. But that's a strong look in the sky. If you got that, I'm jealous.
Oh my gosh! Like beam me to Bulgaria.
Beam me to Bulgaria. Like a name of an album. Cool. So we're in InDesign, right?
We are in InDesign. So you can see that this is the starter file for my book. So I'll as I finish illustrations, I'll just kind of pull them over. So we've got A is for afro, hair loose and free. It's curly, it's puffy, it's perfect on me. B is for braids. I like them long. They keep my hair moisturized, healthy and strong. And then C is for curly. Wait, that's driving me crazy. No, did I see it?
Well, can we zoom in like a little bit, just because they're so beautiful. We don't want to make sure that we see. Like if you zoom in like an inch.
Is it there?
That's perfect. There we go.
Cool. Okay, so I don't have all the alphabet done, but we're gonna jump to V, and I put this here. Okay, so first, tell me now. What are
you ready? Are you ready for this? Okay, so we've got a variety. I mean, and that's not me saying we've got a variety. For a variety is, I realized why I did that. Variety seems to be the winner. So boom. Thank you guys.
Variety. Okay. I'm happy to hear that. You know, I liked variety too, because it's a more it's a word that we use more regularly, but I was like, is it too not hair specific? Variety.
Everyone's digging it.
You guys like it. I'm with it.
Nice. And just whilst you're doing it, I mean, the fonts you're using, what font are you using for? And also, where did you get that font from as well? That's cool.
So Adobe Fonts, there are millions of them. What is this called? This is called Bungee.
Nice. I love that name.
Yeah, cool. And it's two fonts. There's a Bungee. I have to pull up my layers. One is there's a shadow that and then this is the color.
Nice.
Yeah, so it was actually an example that I saw on Adobe Fonts, and I was like, I want to do it just like that.
That's cool. And that's a brilliant rate. When you even mentioned Adobe Fonts, that's a great time to even plug that for sure, because if you're new to Adobe Fonts or even just Adobe Hemisphere, there's so many things you could download and use, and Adobe Fonts is just one example of things you can use, because there's like Markita was saying, there's a strong variety, I'm using that word, of different types of fonts that you can work with and play around with. So definitely get designing and get exploring different types of fonts with Adobe Fonts.
And the good thing about them too, this is important for anybody that can, is considering doing a book, is that you always want to make sure that you can use your fonts if you wanted to sell them, that you could use them for commercial use. And with Adobe's fonts, you can, as long as you're not selling it as your own font. But if you put it in a book or whatever, then it's fair game. And I also want
that's a very good point to flag, because then there's always a lot of obviously the terms and conditions and T's and C's, and even with Behance, I know you on Behance you can download fonts that are created, the community's made, but also there's parts where you may have to credit. So definitely always look out when you download, because someone spent time doing it, so it's only fair to credit. And again, if you have to download it for free, or if you have to pay for it, when you pay for something in the community, it goes back in there and it allows people to do more. So definitely look out for those. That's a good shout for flagging that.
Yeah, absolutely. So then you see I'm pulling in. See, this is where I talk about that autosave, because it's just here. My file is here. It went from my iPad. It's in the cloud. And I wish that I could upload it without so I download it onto my computer, and then I can upload it to
okay. Gotcha.
Yeah, but I'm sure that's in the works.
We've got a question from Dorina, who said, so basically, I mean, I love your illustrations, first of all, so great illustrations, but and this is a good point, maybe it's relating to what you're doing now. Did you say them as PNGs? with the transparent background. So if you have your characters, you can export, I think. And
yeah. You know what? Let me remember what I do, because like, as you see, I'm failing at this. Okay, so this is what I do. You can see exactly what I do here.
Enlighten us, show us. Yeah, it's all good.
Yeah, because I'm like, why is that failing? Okay, so what I do is I don't have to save it as a PNG. It will bring the PSD file in. So like, let me go to, I'm trying to figure out why this is failing me. So these are all just like PSD files. I don't have to save it as a PNG. I can just bring it over.
Nice.
Maybe I had to open it first. That was it. So yeah. And I like doing it this way
as well. Is that so you can edit and then, nice.
That's exactly what I was going to say. So like, if I have to make any changes, I can just go back to that PSD file, change it, save it, and then it'll update here.
Nice. That's actually a really good tool for even those who are watching this and understanding, the beauty of this as well, you're starting to see how different programs can kind of integrate with one another. So you can see now you've got InDesign, Photoshop, and Markita made a great comment about, you're able to edit. So even though that illustration you can see now as a PSD file, if she makes any edits on the PSD file, it will update instantly in InDesign without you having to bring it back in. And these are, again, little tips, tools, and tricks that you can learn on our stream, and also obviously on other Adobe live streams. So definitely check those out, and you'll be enlightened and become a Photoshop and InDesign guru for sure.
Seriously, and it's like I really do enjoy working in InDesign. For some reason, it's probably because I'm used to like in the corporate world working, on like not really layout, but it just feels the most like a document program, I guess. Feels pretty natural, because you're just kind of like bringing things in and adding text. So I feel like it had a pretty low learning curve for me. Like if you've never looked at it before, it might look like it's a little complicated, but it's actually pretty straightforward.
InDesign is definitely my baby. I've got with all the different Adobe programs you can have, that is without a doubt my soft spot.
That's your one.
I'm not going to pretend like it's not. Yeah, we have a love relationship for sure. It's all good. And actually, a nice little reminder. So we're about maybe half an hour, well, to be exactly 34 minutes or so, until we have our artist spotlight. So again, if you're quite new to this stream, or even the term artist spotlight, you're thinking, what is an artist spotlight? That's a segment that we're going to be doing shortly, where we just basically celebrate one particular creative in our community, and to sort of see their work that they're doing and check them out. And also, it's worth shouting out, on the Behance chat, you will see there's an artist spotlight tab. So if you would like to nominate yourself or nominate another creative, potentially for the next artist spotlight, definitely get nominating on there. So that's an awesome way to kind of celebrate and to see different work in our industry. So stay tuned, and we will get into that shortly.
Awesome. What I'm doing now is I'm going to add a background color. I don't think it'll be that one, but oh, dang, I did not remove the background. But that's easy. Oh, and another thing. So speaking of CMYK RGB. So this is where I wish I did not do this. Okay. I'm going to move that to RGB. So I usually, even in InDesign, I like to start with RGB. And then when I do the export, I change it to CMYK. And the reason I have to do it that way is, like, you see how I just created that rectangle and I gave it a color. I found that, I don't know what bad things happen basically when I create color in CMYK. It's all bad. So I'm like, I'll just do it at the very last minute.
It senses your energy. It knows you're afraid.
Man, but I don't want no beef. Like, don't do me like that, CMYK.
Actually, what you're doing now is a perfect example when we were discussing about the changes you make. So you guys are going to shortly see. So that update should come up very shortly, where the background from the Photoshop file has been removed, and then without having to replace it again, hopefully it just updates it automatically.
Yeah, so, usually it gives me a little
Where's like a little refresh?
It gives me a little, what do you call it? Oh, wait, I'm in the, okay. Yeah, it'll be like a little, here, let me just go to relink, because sometimes it doesn't do it right away. What am I doing wrong?
Is it saved? How is it saved? Is it a PSD file?
Yeah, this is a PSD file, and this is, oh, no, actually this one is 1.1. Okay. I was gonna say, I'm just gonna like
place it again.
Yeah, I was gonna maybe place it again.
I know sometimes when you maybe have like file names that are quite similar, it's sometimes it's trying to calculate, but it just doesn't know because they're quite similar. So yeah, going back to the drawing board and then replacing might be the trick. Unless obviously, and that's where I think we had a question. I think it was Dorina where, and that's a good shout when you mentioned PNGs. And again, for anyone who doesn't know maybe what that term means, that's basically a file type where it's going to have a transparent background. So that's always good to work with.
Oh, I know what I'm doing. I know what's happening.
What's happening? Share with us.
Okay, so sometimes, and I'm trying to think why this happens. I'm working, so you can always tell when it's a cloud doc because it says PSDC instead of PSD, like this one is saved on my computer. So let me just close that. So yeah, because I have to download it to my computer in order to
okay.
And I don't want to
desktop, you mean?
Yeah. Yeah, it just ends up being like, let me open it this way because I'm like terrified to go back and be like in my raw documents folder. I don't think there's anything crazy in there, but I'm just like, I don't know, y'all. Yeah, let me just
see. That's the what's I'm looking for. When you do it, obviously Adobe Live, it's a balance. I think we had yesterday when you have to, and it's an art in itself, which you're basically doing amazing, where you're talking, you're designing, but also you gotta make sure that your backgrounds and desktops is all tidied up just in case. Any bank details maybe on there. Or anything
I know,
like
exactly. All right, boom, there we go. There we go. Yeah, it usually is much easier. Do you think it feels like a lot of yellow? It's very yellow.
I mean, I like yellow, but maybe, yeah, okay. Is it too much yellow?
Yeah, I think it's too. I think I'm gonna go with the. I think it's gonna be a more of a neutral color, like more grayish or brown or something like that. But we'll see.
What are you guys in the chat thinking that color? I mean, you've got some quite sharp, dominant colors on the clothing. What are you thinking could be on that background color? I'm waiting for someone to say rainbow. Actually, that'll mix it up. Just a
rainbow,
massive rainbow, like full screen.
That's what my daughter would say. Rainbow, everything, always.
I like her stuff.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So now, let me go back to this rectangle. I mean, I'm gonna change my mind a million times, so I'm not gonna obsess over this, but
and that's always it's a designer's trait, isn't it? Where you can get so bogged down on the color.
Oh my goodness!
Trying to find the perfect color. And actually, that's a nice time to even flag again. We obviously mentioned Adobe Fonts, which is awesome. But you've also got Adobe color.adobe. I hope that's correct in right in saying. Where it's almost like an online portal where you can see color references, which is awesome. You can see how colors can work together and color palettes. To definitely get exploring on color.adobe if you need some help with how certain color schemes can go. And even better, it gives you the breakdown as well of the codes. So whether it's CMYK or RGB, you can just drop those straight in if you don't want to I screenshot sometimes, but you can write the coding, get it perfect, and then you can have fun. So yeah, definitely check that out.
I like this better. Yeah, that's the other thing that I would love to get a little better at is like the whole color theory thing.
Do you have like a Pantone book? Do you have like a Pantone?
No. Is that what I need?
They're cool. Yeah, I actually got one for Christmas. I know I mentioned I'm getting loads of things for Christmas, that and the colouring adult books, but Pantone, it's like I feel like I should have it behind me. It's not behind me. But like almost like a rectangle, and it's thick. But it's like we had one where it's my partner has one where it's the Queen. It's the Queen's different color outfits. So they've used colors, but they use the Queen as a figure. So of course, the Queen of England. So you've got her wearing maybe all orange or all green or all yellow, and you can use that as the color palette for different swatches. Yeah, I love how they made it quite cool.
So then you like having a physical book?
Yeah. So it's a physical book, so you can get an idea when you do print how that could actually look, and it has the breakdown as well. So they usually have like also a Pantone color of the year, which is quite nice. So they usually do that, which is I couldn't tell you what was last year. I should know, but I remember there was like a royal blue once, which was cool. But yeah, that's the geek theory of the color, but we're in the right place to geek out. So
I mean, yeah, I'm all about the geek out, because color is like, it is like it's probably caused me more stress than anything else with this process of creating books. Because when we start talking about like CMYK and RGB, so that's one thing, because I'll design it one way and then I'll get a proof and then it's like, nope, that's not the color that I had. So the printers, every printer is different. You just never know. You just kind of have to get samples. And then there's like, oh, what color should I make? All these things. And it's just like easy to go into like decision fatigue and then just get like burnt out with it. So
that's a very good point. You mentioned as well, like the printers, like I think even if you're in the chat and you're maybe a senior creative or even just starting out, having printers on side will always help, especially if you're getting into print, because I think you made a really good point of having samples. Like it may cost a little bit. Sometimes they don't charge what they do, but I think definitely getting samples will always make your life. You can probably sleep better knowing that it's going to come out in a good way when it is on a sample. Nothing worse than printing. You're like, this is not what I wanted. So
there are the printers that I have found that are local are just way too expensive for what I need to do. And so usually I print on demand with Amazon. So it's just as a customer orders, it gets printed, and Amazon kind of sends it out to different printers. So I have no control over that. But you
can try and get as close as possible though, right? I mean, that's
and then I'll like use my books that are already printed as a guide, so that I'll just go back and look and like, okay, I like the way that color is, and I'll stick with a certain color.
Nice.
Okay, so now we have this laid out, and what I would normally do, let me like fill in a couple more of these just to have it not be empty, because this is something I'm gonna have to do anyway.
Sounds good. And just on that, we've got about 20 minutes until we get into our artist spotlight. So we mentioned at the beginning of the stream what that is, and definitely stay tuned because it's a good one. And I can see we've got a few people kind of popping in now as we're even going in our stream. So Izzy just popped in. Sorry, I'm late to the party. You're not late. Well, you're into the party, but it's all good. You're in a good stage right now. And what you can see is, for anyone who's just joined, we were working in Fresco and we're designing some really awesome characters. And now we're into InDesign. And Markita's taken the illustrations into InDesign, and we're just basically making it within a book layout. So welcome if you've just joined, and obviously get those questions coming in.
Yes. So this is what I meant. I usually get these little, that tells me that I need to update the link, and then I click that and then it's updated. That was what I was looking for last time. It just wasn't coming in. So so I'm gonna have to obviously do this sketch. This is like a very traumatizing photo right here, but it's so real. Like,
what's happening? Can you zoom in a bit? What's happening?
Oh, you can't see it? Okay.
I see the eyes looking like in horror, but I don't know what.
Wait,
there is my eyes actually. I can't even see, but
yeah. No, you're right. I'm kind of far away. So this is the detangle process that we all go through as kids, and this is mom trying to get that hair straightened out, detangled, and
she's in pain. Is that what it is? She's in
pain. I'm might make it less dramatic, but I mean, it's real. It's real. Like, I might make it a little more like maybe mom's expression. I think mom's expression is going to be kind of like, oh my God, like, you're fine. You're just.
But she's just there smiling, like everything's calm. I love the difference. Like, yeah, it's as accurate as accurate. You're gonna look beautiful by the end of this. It's all good.
Yeah.
No, that's nice, and it's nice as well. I mean, again, we touched on it. It's nice that, especially with the core of what you do in this book, it has a real personal connection to you, because obviously you mentioned it's your family. So again, that's a really nice kind of like facet to add to the project, isn't it?
Yeah, it's and that's really something that I want. Like, I did this one so bad. I'm gonna have to. There's some story behind that. I don't remember why I did it that way, but yeah, like when I started on this, I was like, I remember coming up with the idea to do this book. My mom was here. I was doing my daughter's hair, and every time I do my daughter's hair, they like go look in the mirror and they're just like, they just get this smile on their face, right? Like they hated the whole process, but like once it's done, they're like, okay, yes, thank you, mommy. So after I did it, I think what came in my head was like, my daughter, she might've said something like, it's beautiful or something like that. And I was like, oh, no, it wasn't that. It was something like, it's so cute, or something that started with an A. And I was like, oh, I should make like an ABC book. And I was going to make it more like A is for, this is so cute. But then once I started doing it, I was just like, no, I would rather the term, like it actually be for like actual terms. But all that to say, it definitely was born out of like, me just having an everyday little life, exchange with my daughter. And I was like, I have to do like the ABCs of curly hair, because I've always wanted to do like an ABC book. It's just like one of those kind of books that you can find the ABCs of like everything. And so I was like, oh, the ABCs of hair.
But I love that story. Like, just one of those things that just organically happens like that. I think that's the best project, where, I mean, you can obviously plan it and to an extent almost force it, but when it just happens organically and you have ideas and you make it happen, that's awesome. That's fulfilling. That's a really nice. It's a nice story as well, because it's part of the truth, obviously, right? So
yeah,
it's cool.
Absolutely. Yeah, my best stories for sure come from a place of like, I mean, all of them come from something like that actually happened, but I feel like some of my most popular books are I'm Not Sleepy, which is exactly the story of me and my daughter during bedtime. Like it is to a T. And I Love Being Me, which is just kind of like, the kids are like talking about all these different things that they love about themselves. And that book came to me because my youngest daughter, she used to like to just put stuff in her hair. And, it was usually food, honestly, but like just anything, she just might find a little toy and she's throwing it in her hair. And I was like, that is so convenient that your curls just keep everything in place. And I was like, oh, I actually like how that sounds as a, as a book. So
that is awesome. That is too cool. Yeah. I think as well, like, I guess as well, because we touched on this. I mean, it's obviously the book and it's, it's culturally about the Black community. And I think do you ever find, I think, when kind of growing up, and I remember seeing with my mum and my sister, like these moments of when you're doing that, like maybe it's the hair braiding or it's taking out curls, it's quiet, especially when you're a young child and you're with the mum, it's almost like one of those kind of nice moments, right? Where it's like that intimate between, mother and daughter or father and daughter. Or father and son, either way, it's nice. I remember seeing that a lot with my parents. And
I did not appreciate it as a kid because I was looking like this, right? I'm like, just do it and like let me go. But it also is like, it's where I remember watching like The Wiz or like because back then, like our parents were not watching what we wanted to watch. Like us new age parents were like, okay, fine, we'll put it on Cocomelon, whatever. But we're watching. Yeah, I'm just like, I don't want to watch this, but I need you to like chill. But yeah, I watched some of like my best movies that way and like just those memories. And so my oldest actually gets her hair done by someone else just because I found that doing my hair and it was just too much. But I have found that sometimes when I do her hair, she really likes those moments, right? So now I do try to like, at least like the other day she got her hair done and I put some beads in her head. So, we had our moment doing that. So yeah, you're totally right.
Nice.
Like that bonding is like everything.
That's nice. And it is, I think that's nice. You mentioned, I mean, it's those moments that you write that you kind of cherish, and yeah, I think it's pretty cool that it works.
Yeah. Okay, wait. So did anybody drop some bars like for for variety? Remember, I needed help with that.
But by all means, so as you were mentioning, so we want to maybe do some rhyming with some of the words.
Yeah. Okay. Let me put this one here, and then I'm gonna show you guys what I got. I don't even have it. It's not even complete, but yeah, maybe
it's American Idol. I love it.
Right. Okay. So. Oh yeah, I didn't even put it in there. So okay, V is for variety. What did I do with it? Oh shoot. Let me see if I still have it. Layers.
Whilst you're doing now, we've got a question, which is actually quite an interesting one. It's from Izzy, who said, how do you stay informed about what's going on in the creative industry? So kind of keeping up to date, perhaps.
Yeah. Oh, I love your questions. You always ask some really good ones. So let's see. Honestly, I feel like the children's book community as a whole is like very vocal and like there's all types of different spaces. So I'm in a lot of Facebook groups and so people post a lot there. So usually it's just like updates depending on the group. Like I'm in one group where we talk a lot about Amazon. And so it's like, hey, did you know that Amazon ads are changing and like that kind of thing? Or I'm in another group where somebody might say, hey, Gabrielle Union just released a new book. And so, this is a good time to like jump on the trend or something like, we had, I don't know if you follow American politics at all. I'm not going to get into politics. Promise, but
it's all right. It's cool.
We had a new judge that was elected, Ketanji Brown. She's the first Black woman to be elected to the Supreme Court, and one of the senators was questioning her, and so he had this book. It's called Anti-Racist Baby, and it's a cute little book, and it's just like this baby, and it's a board book. It's innocent. And he like had these exhibits of the book showing like, do you support this? This is like hateful stuff. And like, what was he? He was using some different terms, but anyway, that book like took off. It like, wow. Everybody was buying the book after that because it just like, they didn't even know about it. And, and then we came, yeah. So, that's another type of thing that we might like talk about in the groups. So that's one way. And then I listen to so many podcasts. Like I love podcasts. So anytime I'm like in the car, I have my favorites. So
there's a lot of, that's a great question actually. I mean, it's, there's so many different ways that you can kind of be inspired by, whether it's podcasts or magazines or even just going out, step away from the screen and just getting your community. It's always cool to know what you guys are thinking in terms of, where do you kind of stay on top in terms of the industry? Could be watching Adobe Live. There we go. It could be anything. So let us know. It'd be good to know. For myself, I got like quite, I like to bookmark a lot. So on my website, I've got like a website on my browser. I'll have loads of like bookmarks or like blogs, and like checking blogs in the mornings and kind of seeing what's happening. Kind of keeps me afloat creatively.
Yeah, definitely. And it's like, that's another reason why it's nice to watch, things like this, because then you also kind of like get a feel for if there's some new tool or like something that people are doing or, so that's also helpful.
For sure. We've got some good comments relating to they're loving designing your book so far. It's all good. We've got Misty said this is the best book. So there we go. Your fans, they're already loving what you're designing, which is awesome. So keep those good energy and positive vibes coming through. We'd love to see it.
Thank you guys. It's going to be so good. Like, I'm excited. I've been working on it for honestly way too long because I keep like picking up other projects and it's just been out here. So I feel like doing this spread and like seeing how this has turned out is like giving me some new motivation to like jump back into it. So
nice.
Yeah, I want to get it done this year. I will get it done this year. It will happen in 2020.
That's the spirit. That's it.
Yes.
It's nothing can overcome it. You're gonna make it happen now. You promised us on Adobe live stream. You're gonna have to. You have to see it through now.
I know, right? It's
No
out there now. It's documented. Okay, so this is all I have, guys. V is for variety. It's different every day. I wear it and that does not flow. I wear it something about styles. And then I think it could end in the word way.
So has it got a rhyme with the word way because of every day?
Yeah. It doesn't have to. Yeah, it doesn't have to be way. It just feels like that's the word that I would end up using.
Help us out, guys, and people in the chat. If you got a word that maybe could if you're the next Kanye or whatever, or Cardi B, just saying names, put it in the chat what you think could rhyme with that. I'd love to know actually. 10 points again for the most creative answer. Trying to rack my brains out, thinking what could work with that.
And here's a bonus. If somebody does come up with what it will be, I'm gonna write a little thank you at the beginning of this book.
Boom. That, I mean, that's not an incentive to get those creative juices flowing. Let's do it. I think it's only fair. We'll give them a few minutes though whilst they're doing that, because that would be fair to just jump the gun. But definitely get those in the chat.
Tell me now, right away. No thinking time. Okay. Oh, how did this happen? And
just a nice little reminder that we've got about 10 minutes until we get into our artist spotlight. So stay tuned. It's a good one, so you don't want to miss it.
Yes. I'm gonna do this one and then I'll export it so that just so we can have like a finished. This will be kind of our I don't know, our prototype, our like working. And what I usually do too is like I'll end up getting to like a midpoint, like, you know, where we are now with it not being completely done. And this might be the version that I might float around to people to like, I have like a launch club. And so I'll send unfinished versions of some of my books out to them and say like, hey, what do you think in terms of how it's going so far? What might you change? So I'll probably fill in the rest of these so that I have the full alphabet. And then some of them will have, you know, this will be like in draft form like it is here. And some of them will be completely blank because I haven't worked on them yet. Yeah.
We've got some bars dropping in right now, actually. And maybe they could work. So we've got Dorina, let's start from the top. So we've got Misty said different styles. Dorina said various styles. Clever said sometimes it's like play. Wade said Matthew McLeaner. I hope something else, all right. I wear my curls in every way. Like that. And
that's
then Misty
the placeholder.
Said, it could be actually. I think that's a clear winner. I style it in different styles. I love my hair in every way. Man, you guys are like poets. You guys are dropping some bars for us today.
Hold up. I love it in every that has potential. And they said something like, I love to, how do they say it? I love different styles or something. It's different every day.
So we've got, I'll run through that again. So we've got Misty who said different styles. Then we've got various ways. Then we've got Clever who said sometimes it's like play. And then Wade, which I think is a good one actually, is I wear my curls in every way. And then we've got Misty. By the way, I'm just saying, I hope it's not actually questions. I'm just going into each one thinking it's a new bar. We've got Misty who said, I style it in different styles. I love my hair in every way.
Yeah, I like V is for variety. I switch. I don't know. I'm gonna say I this is not gonna pass the editor check. I switch it up each day. But that's it for now. Views for variety. I switch it up each day. I love different styles.
I love it in every way.
Yeah.
No.
All right.
You're not
feeling it. It doesn't flow,
When you know, right?
I'm beatboxing in my head as I'm.
I love that. When you know, you just know. But thanks, guys, for dropping in those little liners. I'm digging it. As a strong collection there.
Yes.
We've got a question from Dorina, and it's a technical one regarding perhaps the InDesign, which is a really good one actually. What size are the spreads that you're working to? They're kind of like square-like, but
yeah, that is a good question. Here, let me show you guys my. This was another one that I had to like get through. So it's an 8.5. All my books are 8.5 inch square. So that's just the page size. And then as you see this like magenta bar that's over here, it is a 1/2 inch margin. So that bar is showing us where the margin is. And then I have an 1/8 of an inch bleed. And so what that all means is like, when you have a picture book, like usually the color goes all the way to the edge of the page, like there's no like border around it. So you do this thing called bleed, where when a printer prints it out, there's going to be like a part that they're going to like cut so that color goes all the way to the end. So that's the bleed. So we make it 1/8 of an inch beyond the page. And then the margin is telling me like, don't have any important images or text that goes past this margin. So yeah, that's a really good question. And then in case this is another question, when I was in Fresco, the image size that I use there is actually even larger than this. Like I think I do like a 15 inch like square image, and I do it larger there just in case, like you never know, like I may want to do like a larger print, and you can always go smaller, you can always like take the size down, but you can't, if you make it bigger, it's gonna look,
you're in trouble. Yeah. That's a really good reminder actually, for those who are quite new to design, if you're using especially different programs, always try and, not always, but it helps when you work a bit big, because scaling down is a lot easier than having to scale up, because sometimes things can be pixelated or you run into a whole world of terror. So it's those kind of little tips and tricks that you'll definitely learn as you start to watch maybe more streams or do more tutorials. So that was a good food for thought now.
Yes. And then now I'm like exporting the PDF, and this is what I do like before I send it to a printer or to Amazon. I just export it. I don't want all the pages, but I don't remember exactly. Let me see. Is there some way I can see beyond this? What the page?
Is it the preview? Down.
Say that again.
Sorry, no, I thought you were in a different window actually. So you're in export.
Yeah, I'm in a different one. And let me see. A, B, C, D, E, F. Okay, I think if I do like 1 through 8, I should be fine.
Nice. Is it the spreads as well? You've used it on singles. So no, that's that happens to me.
You know what? Yeah, pages is what I want. Yes. Cool. Is that how you export it too?
Yeah, it's always a trick, because again, it depends on how it's exported and how it's going to be in the final, whether it's a presentation or if it's a mock-up as well. You might maybe export as like a single page, so then you can put them on mock-ups easily. But when you go to print, again, depends on maybe the binding as well. If it's different types of binding, it might be single page or you might be spreads.
Yeah.
Oops. Yeah.
See, I'm gonna go into different file types. I should not have that up. Okay.
But
all right. I'm just gonna export the whole thing, because I don't know how to do this by pages. I guess I've never done it that way.
And I'll say, whilst we do that, probably about literally maybe 2 minutes, or we can just, as soon as we've done the export, we could jump into our and by all means, we'll definitely continue after you're exporting back into InDesign. I'm sure we want to see the final, we want to see how it's looking in all its glory. But we've kept you guys waiting for more than enough time, and we have a very, very exciting artist spotlight. If you'd like to reshare that with us.
Yes,
Markita.
I would. Let me see.
Awesome. So just to let you guys know as well. So we've kind of mentioned it before, but again, if you just joined in now, this is a part now we're going to look at a very, very awesome creative from our industry, and that way you can kind of get a feel for their work. And it's basically a segment with Adobe Live that we do just so you can basically celebrate them and sort of see some cool stuff that they're doing. So we have got today, and I want to get this correct, and it's even mentioned she's got the spelling broken down. Vegalia, I think I said that correct. Yeah.
Yeah, I actually had not noticed that. Yep. That sounds right.
That was cool. That helped me to have the breakdown. So thank you. If you're in the chat, thank you for doing the breakdown, and hopefully we've got your name correct. And yeah, let's have a little browse through this for a few minutes because this is looking awesome.
Yes. So Vegalia, her work is just like all Black girl magic, and so and this is her right here. She also is stunning, beautiful. I'm just gonna go to some of the ones that I just think are like. This one's really cool. So wait, let me jump to the end because this is just interesting for me to see. She based it off of this this model, and and just like I love how she added her own little flair. Like, look at these braids. That's like true. It's just like, I don't know, she's whipping her hair or whatever, but
that's her energy. That's what it is. Not even the whip, it's just the natural energy vibes, right? Just allowing it to do that.
Oops.
This
is a different one.
Going back to, because remember we spoke about the shine as well on clothes, how difficult that can be. She got the shine on the jacket, so sharp.
Yes. Yeah. You are so right about that. I love how she does that. It looks like maybe one of the brushes that she uses, but yeah, the way she positions it, and then she's got this shadow here. There was something else that I wanted to call out. Oh yeah, same thing on her face, like just kind of like that shine. The eyes,
even the detail in the eyes. That's cool. Again, by all means, guys, in the chat, we've got a link as well directly to Vegalia's Instagram page. But share some love in the chat. What are you guys feeling about it? Are you digging it? And I know we are, because it's looking sharp. But we've got like a nice little 10 minutes or so. We could definitely browse for a few and pick out. I love these tutorials as well that she does. She does these little. Is it Tik Tok? And it kind of comes through. Or was it like?
Well, she might start it on TikTok and brings it over to Instagram. Yeah. That might be what she does. But yeah, she, I don't know how this video is going to show, but I do want to just kind of go to this because it's really cool. So the reason I found her is because she makes these brushes that are hair, right? That's cool. And you can really, like, I'm sure, first of all, this is just a huge time saver for anyone, because you guys saw how long it took me to do like a braid yesterday. And so she like used real hair to come up with those brushes. And so I'm assuming that's what she's using on some of her work as well. This one is really
cool. Amazing. That in itself is such a cool process. Like actually using, I remember when we first spoke, Mookie, I remember we touched on the spotlight when we saw that clip. I think she had one of her dad, and she used her dad's hair as like for the brush palette, that's so cool. My brain wouldn't even think to even do that. That was
me neither.
Very, very cool work.
I attempted one time to make a brush, and it was a fail. I didn't even try again. So yeah, to even like mimic a style like that is just like,
that is cool.
Very cool. So yeah,
even if you go back a bit, it looks a bit of video editing, because again, it's like a mixture of the really cool tools where you've got a bit of animation and like visual effects on top. Which
Yep, you're right. And it looks like she might use a different tool, but I think everybody has their own, like, it's just like your medium. You can use different ones, but I know you can do all this stuff, I'm sure, in Fresco too.
But the color palette, like that is strong.
That is what really like cool. Captures me. Like, this is like iridescent, right? Like, I wouldn't know if somebody said draw iridescence. I would not necessarily know how to do that, but that's exactly what this is.
No, that is very, very cool. and also as well, I think we touched on it yesterday as well. Like with an illustrator, you always need a particular maybe a style as well, or a certain route, and it's so distinctive. You feel like you can see her work, and you just know it's by her.
Yes. Cool. I mean, getting that style like developing a style. I've been working on that. I know this one goes to a video, so I can't click on it, but this one, I love those little posts. Like, how cute is that? But yeah, I agree. Like, having a style, I mean, I'm still working on mine. I have one for curly crew, but you know, getting to that point where, like you said, people kind of look at it and they're like, yep. You know, yeah, that was.
I think that's the beauty of it as well. It's like you're forever, maybe even adapting to it as well. You might not necessarily, you know, you sit in one place and you just kind of dwell on it. You're forever learning more. So maybe you might have a new way of seeing how things could be rolled out. So that's quite cool. Like kind of keeping yourself afloat.
Exactly.
That one was quite cool. Can you go up the top on the? I think there's one on the right where it's like a hand drawn. Maybe the next row up on the far right.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that one's cool. Like
I don't know if okay, good. Yeah, look at that.
That's awesome. Yeah, that's very cool.
Okay, so she's got a coloring book, which looks like it would be so, okay. You know what? I don't know why we don't have this book yet, because this would be so fun to color.
That would be awesome. I can see as well. Like, I mean, we've got the link in the spotlight in the Adobe Live chat, but by all means, like, definitely check our Instagram out, and you can probably even buy a copy of the book. Because it's looking good, but let me just pick out maybe two, three more, and then we'll bounce back. But
okay, we'll show a guy. Oh, the guy maybe he's not.
This is the one I think. Is this the one I saw? Yeah, this is the one I saw. Yeah, I love that.
Like, what are you doing?
But that's what's cool. It feels like real, right? It's just like sort of human element. It's like
right. How cool is that?
Yeah, a lot of effort's gone into that. I love that. And I love as well, she's not afraid to show the process as well. Like, really, it's not just the polished things, it's actually seeing the kind of come up in the journey from what she's created.
And that's what I was saying I really like about TikTok. And you're probably right. It probably a lot of this started on TikTok because I feel like that's what people want over there. And that's like what's kind of rewarded is like show the process. Like, yes, end product is dope, like, of course, but you know, you want to see how it's made. For sure. I love seeing that kind of stuff.
Nice. And let's pick, I'll say one more and then we'll bounce back. But I mean, I feel like there's way too many we could pick.
I know. You pick.
I mean, there's way too, let's just have a little scroll down and pick one that straight away vibes with me. Or yourself, if you see one that you're thinking, yeah.
I would probably click on every single one of them. I think we're coming to the bottom of her.
Oh, I love that one. Yeah. Yes. More on the connection. Our vibes, our brains don't interlock. I got that one too. Yeah, that's cool.
Let me see. Cool. Okay, so like when you're talking about the edges, right? Like it looks so simple. But just that finesse to get those edges, like, is really good. And I love these colors. This kind of has similar vibe to what I'm doing, like with this color palette.
And the detail on the headscarf as well. It's the details like that where it's a lot of shapes and color, but it works so well.
And then this real. Is what I meant. These folds, right? Like being able to, we know what this is doing. We know this is folding under and the light is hitting there. So
a lot of detail got into that. And then one final thing, I mean, the skin tone, because I know even when you're in your own work, we've touched on this maybe over the past 2 streams, trying to find the right skin tone, especially within the Black community, and making it feel as realistic as possible can be difficult depending on the lighting and the shading. But I feel like this has got it spot on, even with the shading around the cheekbones. It's looking super spot on.
It's like a burgundy here, and then I've seen like some kind of yellows. It would be cool to see how she built this because like it just looks like a lot of depth to get to that color.
I can see as well in the chat, everyone's loving the vibes as well. We've got Paul Tranny who said the fabric for the headpiece is amazing. So yeah, definitely echo that.
Yeah.
And by all means, is there a few more on that, like a slide, on the same image?
Yeah, I didn't realize that.
Maybe it's got like
one more. Yeah.
See, I was hoping for like a process. I'm so intrigued now of like seeing. We're so like treated to seeing the pencil drawing. I know. And then boom.
I'm gonna have to message her. And by the way, I did message her to let her know that we were doing this, and she said to mention like she's doing some like stuff for Juneteenth. So definitely check out her page. And I think there are like some deals running on her brushes.
Awesome.
So, yeah.
No, that's a great plug. So, I mean, yeah, fantastic. Thank you. I mean, Vegalia, I should say, amazing work. And I feel like everyone, especially in the chat and myself and Markita, absolutely loving your design. So definitely check her out. We've got her link in the chat. So definitely check her out. And obviously, one thing to flag is that obviously this is an artist spotlight. So if you're interested in maybe having, your own work featured, or maybe a friend or someone you know, definitely get submitting in the tab above the artist spotlight in the Behance chat, and hopefully you guys could be up next. Should we bounce back into your InDesign and then
let's do it?
Let's do it.
So let's go to my PDF. I think it's this. I've done like a couple of these, so I'm hoping I'm looking at the right one. Yeah. Okay. That gray is not the gray. But yeah, so sometimes I'm like, I look at this a little bit later and in a different format, and I'm like, So yeah, you mentioned spread. So what I normally do, I don't remember what happens when I export it as a spread, but I just know that I don't like it. So then I'll usually set up the PDF, and I'll save it so that when someone opens it, and I very rarely send out a PDF to anyone, but in cases where I do, then they'll see the full spread. So that's what it looks like. And then like I said, this would be the exact file that I would take and send to a printer or to Amazon. And then for the ebook, because this is in CMYK, and the ebook, I would go back and do the same thing, and then I would export that one in RGB.
Nice. It's looking good. And I like, I feel like we've all had kind of had a part in the process of it, but even, picking the lines and then the vibe and even the colors of the different clothing. It's been really cool to kind of get that, almost like overall process. And again, having you guys in the chat, putting in, feeding into it, it's been great.
Yes, this does not look like a rainbow. Cool. I'm gonna have to like make it a more defined thing.
No, I think I kind of like that style. No?
You like it?
Yeah,
I do like it. It's pretty, but I wanted to like be an obvious rainbow. Like maybe I'll add like make it smaller, like squeeze it, and then like add the sun or something like that.
You're like me, where it's like it's got to be perfect. When you see it, and you're like, I'm not sure. I need some more time on Adobe Live to make it.
I'm looking at this floating leg right here because I forgot to put this line. Yeah, I'm not even gonna do it. Not gonna do it. Find a million things, but I am happy with this. I love what we have like created here.
It looks great, and it's nice to go and see the process as well from when you're in Fresco, right into InDesign. I think what we'll do is maybe we've got a few minutes left. Maybe we could do like maybe a nice little recap, even from a bit of yesterday as well, right up until we worked on today, just to get like a nice full package. And by all means, towards the end, we're definitely going to do like a little plug to you, because of course the audience would love to know, how they can reach out to yourself. So yeah, let's maybe do like a nice little recap to start with, perhaps.
Now, is it easy for me to go back to my iPad? I don't have to do that, I guess.
We could do it on InDesign. We can maybe do.
Oh, okay. Just kind of stick with it here. Okay.
Yeah.
So what we did is we started when I first brought this up yesterday. I had maybe spent about 2 or 3 hours working on the sketch. And so it was like a kind of a half-baked sketch. This girl looked very different. They didn't have like all of their designs and all that stuff. And so we made some changes. And then last night I kind of did some of my own work just to like make sure I got it at a pretty good space. And then today we finished with coloring. We added accessories to the hair. I feel like I couldn't think of what she needs, but she needs some accessories. I'm also gonna like do some stuff with her edges, accessories there, cute little puffs. So we did all that coloring, and then we did the puzzle. And so once that was done, we brought it into InDesign. And so, I mentioned V is for variety. Oh, and you guys, that was because it was for versatility, and you guys
what was the options again? We had like a nice strong selection.
Yeah, it was versatile, versatility, and variety.
Nice alliteration. I love it.
Yeah. Oh gosh, not gonna lose part. Okay, this time I am able to plug in my MacBook. It always gets to this point at the end where
You've still got time. And actually, we've got some, I mean, we've got a lovely comment here by Spencer. And I mean, by the way, these are the kind of comments that we love to kind of hear at Adobe Live. So thank you. And he said, I just wanted to say, I appreciate you so much for work like this. My son is mixed, so having literature of people with similar skin tone and hair as him is super important. That's cool to hear, right?
Thank you.
That is nice.
I love hearing that. And you know, you bring up a good point too, because so what often happens with hair books is boys get a little overlooked. This book, even though, let me see. Yeah, all of these spreads, this one has both, but I want to say like a third of the book has like F is for fade, for example, and it's a little boy and it's like the back of his head and he's holding up a peace sign.
Yeah.
But yeah, like just like this stuff applies to, you know, all kids in general. And like definitely when it's like kids of color, biracial, girls, boys, like I'm with you on that. So thank you. And, you know, appreciate you for like even sharing this kind of stuff with your kids, because you know, it's the real world. We got to talk about it.
For sure. That was a lovely comment. And again, it's you know, within this line of work that we do, it's all about sharing, right? And sometimes people want to share maybe a lot or personal stuff, but it's a bit like what you're doing with your work, where it's related with family and it has that kind of personal connection. And a bit like with Spencer's comments where it's about his son. You know, it's these things that it just makes what we do much more even more worthwhile, right? Especially when it's something that's going to influence and really inspire a community or even a generation. So yeah, that was a really beautiful comment.
It's what it brings it back for me, because I mean, I have my good days and bad days in terms of like how burnt out I'm feeling or how motivated I'm feeling, but you know, whenever it's like, yes, this is what exactly we were looking for, you know, for my kid. Or I love hearing stories of how some of my books have like helped. Like I have one book called I Have So Many Feelings, and I've gotten the feedback of you've really like created something where my kid can say like, you know, come up with the words, because a lot of times that's the problem with, you know, what kids deal with is they don't have the words to talk about how they're feeling. And so just even being able to like read a book that talks about like, now I feel sad, now I feel bored, you know, it's like getting that feedback that is actually helpful. I'm just like, oh my gosh, I can do this forever. It is.
I love that. And they can articulate it in their own way, right? It's just, it's relatable to them. That's a lovely little way to kind of end. And I definitely, because I would say perhaps 10 minutes, or even 9 minutes actually, until the end of the stream. But I definitely would love for you to have a part where you can kind of, you know, to share and plug yourself, because even though I'm super excited and loving what you're doing with the designs, like I'm sure those in the chat would love to kind of follow up and you know, how they can find out about yourself, of course. And also websites or an Instagram you maybe want to show us, so people can follow you after the stream.
I would love to. Okay, so this is my website, curlycrewbooks.com. I just redid it on Shopify. Whew, it is like, if anybody uses Shopify, it's a learning curve. But so this is where I mentioned the bundles. So, you know, this is like my 5-book bundle. And so I do this cute little wrap, and I'm going to show you guys a video where I kind of wrap it, but you know, I wrap it and then they all come, let me go back. They all come with a book, with a couple bookmarks and a card with a message on it. This is the board book that I have for I Am Not Sleepy. So I want all of the books to be in board book format at some point. And this is the one that I started with. I'm sorry, give me 1 second. I just realized that this says that it is not charging.
It's funny that mother, I'm sure you guys can sort of see that mother looks a little bit stressed on that floor, but it's okay because the child's having a great time in the bathtub. So well, I don't know, for any parents in the chat, I'm sure you're probably watching this and thinking, I can relate to this. But yeah, it's quite nice because again, the books that you do as well, they've got that kind of funny sort of comical element to it as well.
Yes.
Which is really cool.
when I talk about Mo Willems and the books that he makes. Okay, is this the right one? I'm just waiting for this thing to tell me that it's charging. It's not telling me that.
Oh, good.
But I learned a lot from those books because both it's sort of like when you watch Pixar movies, like they're fun for kids, and then adults are also like, you know,
yes,
like super into them. So I just love like creating something that both a kid and adults can enjoy.
I feel like they tailored. That's a really good point. And maybe there could be more books like that where it's for children, but actually there's certain parts that the parent, because obviously the parent's perhaps the one reading it to the child. So maybe it's a similar concept, but with, like you said, with films where I don't know why my brain's thinking of like films like even Shrek, or even just stuff where it's funny, but it could be for an older child slightly. But again, it's those elements where I make it sound like I've got children, I don't, but it's I imagine for a parent it's quite rewarding and also quite funny. So
and I get that feedback all the time. They're like, oh my gosh, I'm that parent. Like this one is another one. Like my kids are always like, snacks, can I have a snack? Can I have a snack? And then this is like my face. Like,
okay, that's basically me. That's me now at 31, I think, to be fair. It's not even
are you the kid or are you the dad? Which one are you?
Probably the kid, to be fair.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna I'll be there yet. That kind of thing. We've got a just a comment actually whilst you're kind of going in maybe your Instagram we can have a look at. We've got Spencer. He said he just followed you on Instagram and he said, great, I'm gonna now go broke because of all the amazing books that you have to offer. So that's cool.
I know, I'm sorry to put that on you, but it's like, yeah, you know,
it's a nice burden to have.
Yes. Okay, so let me show you guys. So this is my TikTok, actually. I decided to go to that instead of Instagram just because I've got a lot of stuff here, but I wanted to go to, oh, no, sorry. Is that loud for you guys?
I'm not sure we can.
Okay.
If you think you can, is it like one of those ones? Perfect.
I turned it off. Yeah.
Cool.
But this is me.
That's cool. I guess we can't hear it, but we can still watch it, right? We can.
Yeah.
Cool.
The sound is not important. It's just a song.
Look, I mean, you're working really fast then.
I'm working. This is real time, not sped up at all. But yeah, like that's kind of how it looks in the end. But I love doing these like videos to kind of show like, you know, this is what you get in the end. And this is my, call it like a everything bundle or something like that. I have different names for it. And so it comes with stickers and it comes with the books. Another really cool thing that I did that I just wanted to show, I think I have time.
Yeah, for sure. We've got like a solid, say 5 minutes. 4 or 5 minutes. But also I was going to say, just my brain straight away thought of the print stock there. I'm not going to geek out too much, but that envelope that you packaged up looked like it was like a nice kind of like grainy paper. I don't know. I feel like
yeah. Yeah, it's craft paper, which like you usually use it for like packing and it's not like a wrapping paper, but it's so much better because for books, like if you put books in wrapping paper, like those corners get like really frayed and just kind of weak. And so I actually hand stamp it. Oh, that's the one that I really want to show, but I'm just realizing that this doesn't allow me to go to, oh, here it is. So this video that I made was like my most viral. I went like kind of viral. I was like, hey, all right.
You got to flaunt it, kind of. I love that. It's like a kind of was amazing. It's just
just kind of dope. But yeah, you could kind of, well, when it comes back around, you could see that I think that's why people liked it because I hand stamp these. And it's another one of those like therapeutic things like drawing braids where like I just get into a zone and I'm just like stamping like, you know, so I just kind of made this paper. So enjoy doing that. But the other thing that I wanted to show you guys was like, I had a misprint in a book. And so this goes along with, you know, when I talked about how I like to keep things in RGB because otherwise, I think this is it, because otherwise I find that I have problems. So, well, first there's this. So this occasionally happens with Amazon and it just gets printed the wrong way. But another thing that happened was one of the pages didn't have, we'll get to it in a second. This has not happened often. This book was just so bad. I just had to show it to people like, wow, what is going on? This one.
Did it print? Okay.
So I think what happened here was I had a rectangle maybe that was transparent. And so I couldn't tell that, that there was a rectangle on top of the image, but then it ended up like printing white like that. I don't know. That's me saying that perhaps it was my fault, but I don't know. I don't know if I'm willing to completely accept that. And so what I ended up doing was I had a bunch of copies that had that misprint. And so I actually ended up creating, I can't find it right now, but I ended up creating like a sticker book that where a kid could kind of, and I'll probably find it easier here. That's kind of a experimental book that I have, Nine Sleepy. So this is the sticker book where I just kind of put that there. So
that's great.
So thanks for the show and tell.
No, and I feel like everyone in the chat will absolutely adore your work, and they've got all the links in the chat, so they will definitely follow up. But Markita, it's been an absolute pleasure to host you these past few days. I hope you've enjoyed it, and I know definitely I can see in our chat has too. So massive thank you. And of course, a thank you to our lovely audience for sticking around and to engaging. Just to kind of wrap up, just to say to stick around for the Lightroom Bootcamp with Aaron Nace, immediately followed by Intro to Slow Motion Video Editing with Christy Adome. And then you can join Christy as she shares her process of editing and a campaign video for Nikon and the behind the scenes stories for her one-woman shoot. So on that note, that's a goodbye from us. A massive thank you again. And Markita, it's been my pleasure to host you. Hope you enjoyed it.
Thanks so much, Karen. This was so fun. And thanks to everyone.
No worries. So see you guys soon. Be care. Take care. Bye.